we start the process for understanding what about cryptocurrencies. First, we want to speak about money. Mal. Mal is translated in English into money, which is not accurate translation. Okay? In the Islamic economy, there are two types that the wealth is being related to, or the mal, or the money. Number one, which is means for exchange. So the money is used as a means to exchange. So products. And number two is products themselves that people use, which is everything apart from money. So the camera, the chair is a product. The money is the money. Okay? As money is not a product in Islam, as it can't directly benefit, but is a mean. How does that mean? I cannot wear the money. I cannot ride the money. Okay? So money in itself is not a product, but money is a mean. And then we have products. Okay? So we need to differentiate between these two. And always in Islam, when Islam deals with money, as we spoke before, money cannot be a product. Money is a mean. So it cannot be sold and buy. You cannot buy and sell money unless there is a difference in the type of currency. But for the same, then it's going to be riba if you get more than what you give. People started in the early ages by exchanging products. So they will give wheat, they will take date, and so on. They will give date, they will take clothing, and so on. So that was the first type. Then they moved into the metal coins. So they started with these metal coins, and the Romans were the first to start these, and the Muslims took it from the Romans, actually, and they used to make gold coins and silver coins, and then they used to be dinars, and then they used to buy and sell using these dinars. Then we ended up with these notes, paper money. And I think the age of these paper money goes back to 1940s, something around that age. We need to understand what is the characteristic of money. So when we delve into the cryptocurrency, we can understand whether these can be considered as money or not. The first characteristic of money is a mean for exchange, meaning that you want to buy something, you can exchange. You can give the money and take the product. Okay, so that's number one of the characteristic of the money. Number two, criteria for value. What does that mean? That it has a value, but that value is linked to a criteria. What do the value of the currencies or the money in each country usually related to? The economy of that country. That's why you will find some of the notes or the currencies in some of the countries are really cheap, whereas others are really strong. So it's expensive. And that usually depends on the economy of the country, and depends on, usually it's linked to some gold, which is equal to the amount of the notes in the country, and it has a big system behind it. Number three, it's saving of the wealth, meaning that if I have wealth, I can save it by money. So it's a criteria to consider the money as money if I can save my wealth using it. Okay? And number four, a mean to value the debts. So if you have a debt, you are not going to say, my debt is 3 chairs. No, my debt is $5,000. So it's a mean to put the value of the debt that you have. So these are the 4 characteristics of anything to be considered as money. Okay? So number one, that it's a mean of exchange, so you can buy with it. Number two, it's a criteria for value, so meaning that it has a criteria, it's linked to something for its value. Saving the wealth, I can save my wealth using that money, and it's a mean for the value of the debt. So if I have a debt, then the debt is going to be counted based on that money. Very important point in the money is that the currency or the money is issued by the country, not by the individuals. Money is issued by the country, not by the individuals. Why? Because when the country issue the money, the country itself support the money. Make sure that the country itself makes sure that the rights of the people are maintained. Like I will give you an example that happened during my life. At some stage, when Iraq was Iraq, you usually used to have, for example, 1,000 Iraqi dinar equals, I don't know, but it used to equal something in American dollars. After the invasion, the currency went all the way down to the extent that you might have 100,000 Iraqi dinar and it's not worth anything. It's really very low. So what happened? Because the country collapsed, there is no support to that currency. And so people lost their wealth. They used to have millions of Iraqi dinars, and after the invasion, it's not worth anything. It's just useless. So this is why in Islam, the Muslim countries are supporters to the money or to the wealth or to the currency. After this introduction about money, we will start speaking about cryptocurrencies and the Bitcoin and what is going on. Is it halal or not? How is it done? And so on. I will start with the Bitcoin. Bitcoin was done by a Japanese guy. I think his name was Charlie Lee. And that person started Bitcoin, and then he is not known wherever he is. So there is no information about him anymore. Disappeared. He used numerous hours and numerous amount of power for the computers, and he generated this Bitcoin, which we are going to speak about. How did he generate it? And issued 21 million Bitcoins for the world. Out of them, 18 are in the market and 3 unknown. Unknown, what does it unknown mean? It might be somewhere, and it might be that it's not being captured yet. But he issued the 21 million Bitcoins. So that's why there are 3 million Bitcoins might be there for mining. They call it mining the Bitcoin. Okay? He put these Bitcoins on the blockchain. And we are going to speak about what is this blockchain. And then he disappeared. So who's the owner of Bitcoin? Nobody. There's no owner. So, just roughly, if you had an issue with Bitcoin, who do you go to give back your right? Is there any place you say, I want to complain, someone stole my Bitcoins? Is there a place? Is there an owner? No. There is no owner. So there is no place to actually go and complain to take back your right if something happened to your Bitcoins, which is the wealth, in a way. So there is no source known for it. In the cryptocurrency world, there are two things that we need to differentiate between. Number one is the blockchain, and number two is the currency. What is the blockchain? Imagine the blockchain is just like a box, very secure box online, and you can store on that box whatever information you want, and it is very secure to the extent that no one can hack it. You fill that block. You want to add more. You create another box, a block. You fill information inside it. You link it to the previous block. So you are forming a chain of blocks. These chains of blocks are actually blocks that contain information that was stored safely inside these blocks. That's why it's called blockchain. This blockchain is 100% halal. Can be used for anything and can be used for beneficial. So it's a mean. But what happened is that the person, the Japanese person, was the first one to put that currency on the blockchain. And so people need to mine it from the blockchain in order to get that currency. At the beginning, I think Bitcoin was around 55 cents or 57 cents. And now we are speaking about tens of thousands of dollars. So the blockchain, and whatever happens on the blockchain from transformation of or transfer of information and storage of data is acceptable in Islam. So blockchain is a specific type of database. It has nothing to do with money, but it was used for this currency. It differs from typical database in the way it stores information. Blockchains store data in blocks that are then chained together, and that's why it's called blockchain. Okay? So this is terminology number one, which is the definition of blockchain. Now comes to the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and its sisters and all of that. Bitcoin is called a currency. But is it a currency or not? This is what we are going to discuss. It's not a currency and was not issued by a country. As we said, it was issued by an individual who created these 21 million Bitcoins and then put them on the blockchain and disappeared. And people started mining and using it. There are lots of issues around all of these cryptocurrencies. And we are going to discuss them one by one. And we are going to end up saying what forms a halal cryptocurrency. And so is there any halal cryptocurrency that is existing that we can use? So these currencies are stored on the blockchain. Recently, China started a new currency called yuan. And Brazil started a new currency called Petracoin. So these cryptocurrencies were created by the country. And so the country is allowing the people to use it for buying and selling inside the country. So this is going to be backed up by the country. So if someone has an issue with that cryptocurrency, where is he going to go to get his right? He's going to come to the government, because the government issued that cryptocurrency. So there is a sort of source for that cryptocurrency. Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies, they don't have owner like a country or even a company to hold responsibility of it. Usually it's individuals that actually start these cryptocurrencies, and there is nothing to back up that cryptocurrency. adultery is haram. One of the wisdoms why it is haram, because the person does not take responsibility of that adultery. So if a baby came from that adultery, he doesn't take responsibility. Interest is haram, because the one who takes the interest, he doesn't take responsibility of loss. So he's always in the win side. That concept of not taking responsibility is a reason for making things haram in Islam. So that concept is actually involved in the cryptocurrencies to say whether they are halal or haram. The other thing is that the price of the Bitcoin is unrealistic. It's built on speculations. Sometimes what they do is they announce in the news, oh, this country will start using Bitcoin. The price of the Bitcoin will go up. They will announce, oh, Bitcoin is going to be taxed. The price of the Bitcoin will go down. So it's all built on speculations and unrealistic rise and fall in the price is built only on news. So there is no ground for the price of the Bitcoin. And there is no backup for that Bitcoin. It's not backed up with knowledge. There's no knowledge behind it. Even though you might say, well, people were mining it and they spent hours and electricity and high power machines in order to mine it, but there is no technology to back it up. Or technology or production or plants or anything. So there is no farms behind it, there is no factory behind it, there is nothing behind it. If you want to, for example, consider it like shares. Shares, they have a product behind it. For example, there is a factory behind it. There is a company behind it. So when you buy your shares, you know that your money is going to be taken and put in that factory that's going to manufacture cars, sell cars. So there is a product and there is a company behind it. Whereas these cryptocurrencies, the majority of them, there's no product behind them. So they are just unrealistic. And they are going to be built, and their value will be built on speculations, on demand, on news, which is always unrealistic. And Islam does not allow this to happen. Cryptocurrencies, they have been used a lot for money laundering. So lots of people who wanted to clean some money that came from suspicious sources, they use cryptocurrencies. So they bought the cryptocurrencies by the money that they got, and that's how they managed to clean them. As there is no need for approval from any country to use these cryptocurrencies. So anyone can buy and sell cryptocurrencies, and no country can hold you accountable for buying or selling. It's an individual responsibility, and the consequences as well is individual. Blockchains need to be used by Muslims and used to develop an Islamic currency. We really actually need an Islamic currency, and we are going to speak about what options do we have to get an Islamic cryptocurrency. The difference between paper money and cryptocurrency is the value of the paper money guaranteed by the country and has a bank cards that link to it compared to the cryptocurrencies. So when you have, for example, $2,000 in your account, you cannot see them. You will have the card, the bank card. That bank card can use actually your money in your account. And that's linked. For the cryptocurrency, there is nothing. There is no bank that is holding the cryptocurrency. And there is no card linked to that cryptocurrency. So you can actually know that there is a value, proper value, and backed up. Cryptocurrencies now have over $80 billion worth of currencies where the owner forgot the password or did not use it for a period of time, so it has been cancelled. So people lost the money, as you can't ask any country or company for it. So you forgot your password, all the cryptocurrency is gone. And they have a rule that if you don't circulate your cryptocurrency for a certain period of time, it's going to be lost. Back to blockchain, someone will mine it, will take it. So the wealth is not protected. Remember, one of the characteristics of money that you can preserve your wealth using that money. So the cryptocurrency has a danger that you might lose it for a silly reason like forgetting your password or not circulating your cryptocurrency for a certain period of time, got lost. These are all issues around the cryptocurrency that make the cryptocurrency actually not an Islamically acceptable currency to be used, because they cannot be defined as money. And we discussed the characteristics of the money. Advantages of the cryptocurrency. There are good advantages for it. Number one, if you want, for example, to transfer money from here to any country, you want to transfer to your country. You know, it goes through USA. All the transfers, they need approval from the USA for any amount, especially if you are 5,000 and above. They need approval. So it goes through filter. Forget about the amount that they are taking as fee for transferring money. Forget about the currency exchange rate, which usually we get disadvantaged. The cryptocurrency can move anywhere without any fees, without any approval, and that's an advantage for it. So if we have a proper cryptocurrency that we use, we can use that cryptocurrency actually for transferring money without losing anything. Can't be hacked as it's related to blockchain, and the blockchain is really strong enough to be secure to handle or hold that currency. In general, money is politicized, whereas cryptocurrency is not. For example, a group of countries who wanted to attack a country. For example, recently we had Turkey being attacked, so political attack on the economy of the country. They attacked the currency of that country, of Turkey, and they succeeded in dropping the price of the currency by around 30%. This affected the economy and people who are living in Turkey. Of course, although if you go back in time, like I remember going to Turkey in 1980s. That's to show how old I am. And in there, I remember we took with us around 1.5 million of the Turkish lira. At that time, it was not worth anything. But after the development of Turkey and the economy of Turkey, now the currency is very strong. To the extent like the 1.5 million liras, Turkish lira at that time, it used to worth around $3,000, $4,000. That's it. Now it's way different. So it's strong. So they politicized that. So it's politically connected to something that they can affect it. And this is what they did to Turkey. And they dropped the currency price, and they affected the economy of the country. So it's political. Whereas if you have a cryptocurrency, it's not being affected by politics. So it is going to be strong. So these are the advantages of the cryptocurrencies, which we need to look at from an Islamic point of view. The disadvantages is that they are not supported by any company or any country, as we said. So it's unacceptable. The rights can be lost and no one to complain to. Currencies that are supported by countries or companies are allowed in Islam. So if there is a big company that created a cryptocurrency, and that big company has projects behind these currencies, then this is allowed in Islam and can be actually used. Islamic economy is built on ownership, while the cryptocurrencies are not physically owned. So you need to own something. At the end of the day, the money that you have in the bank, if you want to withdraw that money, you will have it. It's owned by you. But the cryptocurrencies, they don't have physical ownership. It's all on the internet, on the blockchain. At any stage, countries might cancel them. And if the country said, you cannot use them in my country, that's it, no value. So the person will lose all of his wealth if he invested in the cryptocurrencies. You lose your money if you forget your password. There's no way to retrieve. There's no way, forgot my password, retrieve it. No, you lose it. Became key in the fake price, which is built in speculations. All of the prices of the cryptocurrencies are fake. They are built on news, fake news. They are built on demand and offer in the market and so on. These are the dangers that cause this to be unlawful. So the cryptocurrencies, if they are in the description that we have described, it's unlawful. You cannot use them or you cannot work with them. How to have a halal cryptocurrency? At some stage, Google and Facebook wanted to issue cryptocurrencies. So if Google issued a cryptocurrency, it's a huge company. It will back it up. They stood in their faces, threatened them if they issue any cryptocurrency. And they ended up not issuing any cryptocurrency. If they issued the cryptocurrency, these two companies, people would have purchased them and used them in the market. And it's going to be just attacking the actual price of the currencies, like the dollars or the other things. They were warned from the giant countries, as these companies are respected in the world and will be accepted and will escape the giant countries' control. So it's a political control of the economy in the world. So the giant countries refused to release the control of the economy. Because as soon as you create these currencies by giant companies like this, people straight away will accept it. Because they trust Google, they trust Facebook, and so they lose control of the economy of the world, these giant countries. Blockchains can do all Islamic transactions. It is required that our Muslim countries should use blockchain and become advanced in this technology. So we have to understand this technology and we have to become advanced in this technology. How can we get halal cryptocurrencies? Number one, a Muslim country can issue a cryptocurrency and support it. So the government decide to create a cryptocurrency, support that cryptocurrency, so the government will allow people to buy and sell using this cryptocurrency. That's 100% halal. Okay? Number two, a Muslim country issue a secondary currency connected to the gold or the actual currency. Meaning that For example, Australia, they have the Australian dollar. They issue a secondary currency next to the dollar called Australia coin. That Australia coin has a value connected either to the gold or to the Australian currency. So say each Australian coin equals 50 cents of the Australian dollars. Then you connected it. So you have a secondary currency which you can use online, or you can use, for example, to buy and sell in the shops and in the wherever you want. That's an option as well for a Muslim country to start this type of secondary currency. Number 3, form a huge company. Get big investors from around the world, Muslim investors, and then issue shares and connect these shares to the cryptocurrency. So for example, each share in this company equals to one cryptocurrency. And then what you do is you get that money that was invested in buying these cryptocurrencies to build projects, factories, or anything. And so these projects are going to develop economy. And if they are successful, the share price is going to be raising. And so the cryptocurrency price is going to be raising. The raising of the value of the cryptocurrency in this model is built on an actual value of the product. This way, this cryptocurrency is 100% halal and can be used. Unit trusts equal in value to the currency, and for example, develop a factory or a product. It's similar to the company, the huge company. And then finally, issue golden dinars, golden whatever coin that equals to a currency issued. So you connect them with each other. So what are you doing here is you are hooking the currency to what? To a value, to an actual value, because you are hooking the currency to an actual value, which is the gold value or the country currency value. This way, your cryptocurrency has a meaning. And the rise and the fall of the price of the cryptocurrency is linked to an actual meaning. And it's backed up, so you cannot come out of a sudden and lose your whole money. Why? Because the gold will never lose its value. It will go up and down, okay. If you hook it to a currency of the country, it will go up and down, okay, based on the economy. So it has an actual value behind it. So why Bitcoin is haram? Based on what we have discussed, there is a danger of losing it. You can use or forget your password, done. The value of that Bitcoin is not real. It's built on speculations. And the currency is not owned by a company. There's no owner for that currency. And then if you lost anything, you cannot bring back your right. It's gone. So, going back to the cryptocurrencies, there are numerous number of cryptocurrencies in the world. And some of these new cryptocurrencies, they are trying to hook them to products, to make the value of the currency meaningful, built on an actual product. These cryptocurrencies can be halal or haram based on the type of the product. So if these people who created this cryptocurrency hooked it to a product that is haram, for example, they sold 200 million cryptocurrencies, call it whatever you want to call it. And then they took that money and they invested it in alcohol. So the product behind that currency is haram. Then that cryptocurrency is haram. Whereas if they took that money, even if they are not Muslims, and they took that money that people invested in that cryptocurrency, and they built a factory for something that is permissible. They built a car factory. And then the car factory started becoming successful. The cryptocurrency price went up. That cryptocurrency is halal. Because there is a company behind it. There is a product behind it. If you lost anything, you can go back to the company to bring back your right. So it's issued by an authority that you know, whether it's a company or a country. It has a real value linked to a product, to a currency, an actual currency, or to gold, or to anything. And then the rights will not be lost. You cannot lose them. With this, looking at the cryptocurrencies that are available, you cannot just come to the market and start buying any cryptocurrency and selling it, trading with any cryptocurrency. You need to dig deep behind each cryptocurrency. You need to know what they are dealing with. Is there a product behind it, or there is no product behind it? Because Bitcoin, does it have any product behind it? What they are trying to promote is the product behind Bitcoin is the mining process, which people invest in hours of manpower and high-end machines and electricity to mine these Bitcoins. That's unrealistic. Okay? So with this, it actually summarizes for us how to decide whether a cryptocurrency is allowed in Islam or not allowed. Whatever I gave you today is coming from the big fatwa body of the Muslim world, which came up with this fatwa about the cryptocurrencies and the Bitcoin. So I summarized all of their discussion to you today to tell you how our big scholars in the world are telling us about the cryptocurrency and what can be and what cannot be, and why these are acceptable, why the others are not acceptable, and how can we get a halal cryptocurrency, and so on. Is this clear? Is there anything about cryptocurrency that you have a question?
Do you know if there are any Muslim countries working on developing one?
There is one in Kuwait, which was actually purchased. The whole cryptocurrency was purchased, and it was built on wealthy Muslim people, and was supported and backed, and it's running. But we need more of these, or we need one which is big. And actually the muftis of the Muslim world, they actually proposed in one of the conference meetings for the whole Muslim world, they proposed to issue one Muslim currency. So it's Islam, call it the Muslim dinar. Issue it as a cryptocurrency, back it up for the whole world to buy these currencies and start using it online, and use that money to develop factories, to develop countries, to support, to get a product, and to do that. But until now, nobody actually developed anything in the Muslim world. And guess what? Unfortunately, when our scholars worldwide proposed that to the Muslim countries, non-Muslim countries came to our scholars asking them to back them up and help them in developing currencies for their countries. Our scholars refused. because they were willing for the Muslim countries to develop currencies. Because, agree or not, these cryptocurrencies are coming. And they are going to come really fast. And if we do not be fast enough to develop our own Muslim currency, cryptocurrency, we'll be behind. And we might be forced to use currencies that are unlawful. And this is where we are heading now. So we are always slow in our progress in these things. Yes?
Do you think that paper money will be completely gone? Just like how...
Who thought at any stage the gold coin will disappear? Now all the gold and silver coin disappeared. We have yellow and silver color, like the dollar and the 2 and the 50 cents, but they are not actually not gold, not silver. The gold and silver coins disappeared. And then now we are speaking about notes. Are they going to disappear? Why not? If we have a better, stronger finance system or money system, it will definitely pick up and the previous will be disappearing. And there's no issues with that. From an Islamic point of view, if that currency fulfilled the characteristics of the money, why not? Okay?
What if like the big company that's issuing it, what if something happens to them and it collapses or something like that? Then everyone loses their money.
This is coming to shares, for example. This is coming to countries with itself. Like I gave you the example of Iraq, how people were having money and out of a sudden they lost the value. So this can happen, which is acceptable in Islam. Because this is natural disaster or natural collapse of a country or a company, or which can happen. So this is just a profit and loss, which is part of the Islamic economy. So no problems with that. Okay? Clear about the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, and if someone asks you, is it halal or not haram? We cannot say it's haram, we cannot say it's halal. If it meets the conditions, it's halal. If it doesn't meet the conditions, it's haram. Okay? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.